This is in Councilor Fry's district. So I haven't been pointing out which districts these are in, but this is a big one for the councilor's district. Next slide. And of course, all capital transportation operating budgets have been agreed by the House and Senate. So of course, this is on to Governor Inslee's desk for signing tomorrow. Next slide. And looks like we're going to have I think we're able to get all of this in. So why is this piece of equipment important to our city? It's a biosolid applicator. And what a lot of folks don't realize is we have one of the few unfiltered water sources in the nation. It is a huge cost savings to our ratepayers to have this type of source. The applicator takes the sewage waste, the byproduct of sewage treatment, and it comes into a solid form. The applicator actually takes it from our sewage treatment plant and redistributes it out into our watershed. So it promotes growth, forest health. It saves us costs from trucking out to a disposal area. It is practically a closed loop system where every piece of the system is used. I probably like you. I like those type of systems where you have little waste and you're doing a lot of reuse, and actually it's helping the entire system, which is really good. So I'm just sharing it. It took a little work to get this truck up and running again. Supply chain issues have been a challenge for all of us. We do have it, as you can see down at the bottom. It's just undergoing some performance testing, and now we have it up and running again. So a critical piece of that our watershed, and keeping those rates at the lowest in the region. Next slide, please. I thought it was time to tout a little bit about some achievements at Bremerton High School. The top one is fun. We're up there. We're talking about making the state tournament for the first time since 2010. The Final Four. It's been 50 years since Bremerton High School made the Final Four, and I'll just go ahead and date myself. I remember that team. I watched them. It was the East High Knights. They did end up winning 2 state championships in a row. They made it 3 years in a row. This team here, this was one of the most, and those were exciting games. This was one of the most exciting games against Linden that I've ever seen. So the Bremerton High School actually live streamed it into the Performing Arts Center, had it up on the big screen, filled the auditorium. It was fun sitting with a bunch of students, my wife and I. A lot of energy, just a fabulous game. We lost by 1 point, but this is a young team. A lot to be proud of. There's more to come on this. So I wanted to share that. Our wrestlers, once again, we had one competing at the state final level. And of course, Lars won again, 190-pound class for the 3rd consecutive year, the state champion, which is an incredible feat. Next slide, please. And our Bremerton Knights cheer team, first time in history, state champions. So I wanted to share that with you. It's pretty cool achievement. And this is just a brief. The football team had wonderful achievements last year. Even our robotics team put together some fantastic projects to place really well. They were very successful this year, but I wanted to highlight these. That's about it, Dave. Let's see if I've got another slide up there, and that's it for tonight. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Mayor. Lots of good news. Thank you for all the celebrations you brought to us today. Next up, we have the consent agenda.
Thank you, President Chamberlain. For approval on the consent agenda are the following items. A, claims and check register. Approval of the following checks and electronic fund transfers. 1, check numbers 406121 through 406269 and EFT numbers V40430 through V40507 in the grand total amount of $2,544,693.12. 2, regular payroll for pay period ending February 15th, 2024 in the amount of $1,104,961.49. 3, regular payroll payout for pay period ending February 15th, 2024 in the amount of $17,404.26. 4, retiree payroll for pay period ending February 29th, 2024 in the amount of $34,708.81. B, minutes of meeting February 21st, 2024. C, minutes of joint planning session February 24th, 2024. D, minutes of study session February 28th, 2024. E, confirm reappointment of Vanessa Asherto to Bremerton Kitsap Access Television Citizens Advisory Committee. F, resolution number 3378 to approve the capital agreement with Washington State Department of Commerce for the Connecting Housing to Infrastructure Program grant for the Kitsap Community Resources Manette Housing Project. G, contract modification agreement number 4 with Kellermeyer Bergensons Services LLC for janitorial services. H, contract with Redside Construction LLC for the Pine Road Basin Stormwater Improvements Marine Impact Basin Project. And I, stormwater financial assistance program grant agreement with Washington State Department of Ecology for Kitsap Lake Stormwater Retrofit Construction Project. This concludes the reading of the consent agenda.
Thank you, Clerk Hoover. Does any member of the public wish to comment on any one of these items?
Good evening. I'm Mike Simpson. I live in District 6. And I always find it problematic that the council has a consent agenda and everything goes on the consent agenda and there's no dissent. There's nothing that goes on the general when there's nothing on the general business. That's problematic. It leads to groupthink, and it's troubling that our council would have that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, does any other member of the public wish to comment on one of the consent agenda items? Okay, seeing none, I'll go to council for a motion. Councilor Coughlin,
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
for a second.
I second.
Okay, and seeing no further discussion, let's vote on the consent agenda.
Councilmember Fry,
Yes.
Coughlin,
Yes.
Robolowski,
Yes.
Goodnow,
Yes.
Mochler,
Yes.
Younger,
Yes.
Chamberlain.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Next up is public recognition. As noted on the agenda, public recognition provides an opportunity for attendees to address the council on any issue not already on tonight's agenda. And again, there will be no public comments accepted via Zoom tonight unless there is an accommodation in place. This is also a reminder that it is election season again, so please refrain from any endorsements for or comments about candidates or ballot measures. With that, please line up at the podium and please remember to say your name. And you have 3 minutes. There's a timer system. Folks that are coming up already kind of know the timer system, but as a reminder, the green light will signal to go. The yellow light will signal 30 seconds left. Is that correct? And then the red light, I'm going to just have to be equitable and cut you off. Thank you. And feel free to line up at the podium.
Mary Lou Long, longtime resident of Bremerton, District 6. I'm here tonight once again to encourage the City Council to reinstate the Pledge of Allegiance as our formal opening to our public meetings and the public forum. I think it's important that we all remember who we are and that we're supposed to be working towards those goals that are stated in the Pledge of Allegiance. I know you guys don't want to stand. I certainly would like to invite you to. The cameras don't show you to the public on the public record as to whether or not you stand or say the Pledge of Allegiance. And I think it would be nice if the public knew how you guys felt about it. Anyway, with that, if there are people in the audience that would like to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've just gone through some political activity, and we've all had opportunities to voice our opinions. And this is what the flag brings to us as individuals in the United States of America. Many countries do not.
Can we pause for time, please, and fix the mic?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, thank you. Okay. Go right ahead.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. So it's very important to participate. That's what our flag gives us the privilege of doing. A lot of countries do not have that privilege. My two grandchildren are having their 12th birthday tonight or today, and I'm going to go to celebrate that with them after this meeting. And I want to also say that I'm extremely proud of the sportsmanship and the accomplishments of the Bremerton High teams. I think that they've shined very brightly this year. They've worked really hard and they've gotten to some very good goals and positions, and they need to be recognized for all their effort. With that, I'll just say, have a nice evening. Looks like it's going to be a short evening for you guys.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Corey Kauk, and I'm a resident of Bremerton, and I also work in Bremerton. I'm the new executive director at the Bremerton Food Line, and I haven't had a chance to introduce myself. I've been very busy getting things in order in our organization, but wanted to come today to give everybody a little bit of an update on what has been happening at the Bremerton Food Line, how we wrapped up 2023, and just to say thank you to our community for supporting us. Last year, we served 11,806 unique individuals from Kitsap County, mostly. About half of those individuals are from Bremerton. 32% of the people we serve are children, and 20% of the people we serve are seniors. So over 50% of the folks that we serve at the Bremerton Food Line are our most vulnerable community members. In March last year, we adjusted service model. So instead of serving clients once a month, we now serve clients once a week. So our numbers jumped from about 100 households a month to 400 to 500 households a month. And we're very busy. And what we're working on in 2024 is building collaborations and relationships across the food network in our community. There are lots of meal programs and food banks and efforts in making sure our community members who are food insecure get their needs met. And it's my vision that we all start working in a little bit more collaborative way, that we know each other, that we understand each other's programs. So hopefully we'll be moving forward with some networking opportunities for our local service providers. And we would also like to assess really what the gaps are in our community. So if the food bank is serving 11,000 individuals, and we know that the poverty line in this community is much more than that, there are a lot of people being missed. And I envision our food bank taking a leadership role in assessing who is being missed and how do we need to adapt our programs and services to accommodate those community members who aren't getting their needs met by our organization. So I just want to say thank you. I'm grateful to be here. I grew up in Bremerton area, and I'm really glad to be back and have this important role in our community. So thank you for all you do, Council.
Thank you, Ms. Kalk. We're going to pause for just a moment. Looks like there's some IT we're going to work through. Okay, are there any other members of the public that would like to step forward for public recognition?
Hi, and I'm Mike Simpson. I live in District 6. And I want to double down on what Mary Lou talked about our Pledge of Allegiance. It is simply a reminder of the oath that you, as elected officials, took when you swore, an oath for office. It's just an affirmation. That's all that it is. It's a reminder that you have pledged your allegiance to our Constitution at our federal level and our state level. And with that in mind, our state constitution, it has a preamble that puts all of our rights in front of the rest of the Constitution. I would strongly encourage you to read that, because that might actually spark you to understand that in our preamble, our state recognizes that there is a benevolent creator of the universe. And in that tone, I would strongly encourage you to reinstate the invocation. And the invocation isn't necessarily a religious celebration or a bringing of religion into our politics, but it should be reinstated. And it should be reinstated immediately. Now, I do have some positive news. In District 6, on my street, on Snyder, there was a stop sign that got replaced. It got replaced at 15th and Snyder, and it got replaced. I had complained about it about 2 years ago using the Bremerton One app about it being vandalized because it'd been painted over. And the city replaced it, and they replaced it with a flashing stop sign. Now, this flashing stop sign's nice. It's a passive thing, but it didn't stop the safety issue that's happened at 15th and Snyder. My neighbor Gary's house has been just about destroyed twice because people who don't obey stop signs, people who don't obey these passive devices that we have to control traffic, have crashed through the intersection into his fence, destroyed his truck on the first one. On the second one, crashed through his fence, destroyed his garage, and destroyed the vehicle inside, and catapulted everything in the garage into his neighbor's fence line. Now, this happened at about 6 a.m. this last time, and fortunately, his brother who lives in the house wasn't in the garage because he probably would have been killed. Now, I come before you again to say, I told you so, because I told you you weren't going to put in any kind of active traffic control devices there. Now, by active traffic control devices, I mean speed bumps or speed humps. They're in the area and they should be on that end of Snyder. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have someone online? Okay. Does any other member of the public wish to comment on any item not on tonight's consent agenda? Okay, I will now close public recognition. And because we have no general business, I'll move on to council reports. And because it's the first council meeting of the month, we have District 2, Denise Fry.
Thank you. I've got some slides to share tonight. That's great news, Mayor. I got a little teary when you talked about the money coming in for the Safe Routes to School at View Ridge Elementary Arts Academy, local school in District 2. And gosh, it's going to make such an impact in that area of town. A lot of traffic calming coming in to that area. And so, boy, I didn't mean to do this, but I decided to use pictures of my district. There isn't many beautiful overhead pictures of District 2. They tend to focus the drones like the marina or even District 1, with Lions Park and everything. But in District 2, we've got a few other types of sites. And so View Ridge, well, that's just fabulous. I'm so tickled about that. Thank you, Mayor. Next slide. You probably have driven by, but MAG development is near completion at Bremerton Station. And really excited to see that grocery outlet go in. It's actually moving from across the street and down the way. I'm intrigued by that. I'm going to find out more about that as to why we have so much great redevelopment on one side of the road, and I'm sure it's different owners of the different properties. But this is very exciting, and of course, behind that development is over 300 units of housing that are opening now and then phased throughout the rest of this year. It's definitely revitalizing the corridor. I took that picture, by the way. It wasn't raining yesterday. Yeah. Next slide, please. I just want to mention that the bond measure that was successful with Bremerton School District means that View Ridge Elementary will also be rebuilt. So that's a lot of opportunity swirling around one campus. And I know that our planning staff will work very closely with the school to make sure that we're in alignment with whatever plans that they're making to rebuild View Ridge. Pretty sure it's staying on that same site, but what else might be developed on the old East High School site? There's still so much land there. I'm still, of course, but Mayor, when you say that multimodal path from Riddell clear on down to the bridge, my heart sings. So making sure that all that's coordinated, there's a lot of money coming in to those few blocks, and let's make sure that we spend it well, right? Okay, next slide. And then, yeah, it's being demolished. A lot of the demolition has gone on inside. And so one day I took this picture too. I do drive around my district taking pictures sometimes, but they were taking out a lot of the metal waste from inside. And so there were a lot of metal recycling trucks in the area. Just proved to me that yes, even though we don't see things all the time happening there, it has been. And of course, that demolition will be completed by the end of this year. And moving forward, I guess we're going to move right into District 3 report. The one thing I do want to say though is the Warren Avenue Bridge funding, the way that came down the pike, Mayor, for one thing, I thought it was going to be pushed out 10 years ago or so. And so I'm excited. I also know that that puts us in, okay, we're going to get this done. But I love that phase approach because it kind of fits with making sure that we make it happen. It gives us a little bit more time to make it happen. So good news all around. Thank you so much for bringing that to us tonight, Mayor. And with that, I'll turn it over.
Thank you. I heard District 3 is next with Jeff Coughlin. That would be you,
Oh,
sir.
that's my
Yes,
number.
sir.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you both. Well, it gets up there. Yeah, let me piggyback. That's some wonderful news, and it's amazing how much it's all aligning with the bond measure coming from View Ridge Elementary, and of course the other schools with the safe routes to school, getting that north-south connector. And I am obviously really excited about the bridge funding getting pulled up and the extra money for design, and fingers crossed and all the asterisks that need to happen through the rest of the year. But yeah, the way that comes down, you know, what's really interesting is that the construction cost for just getting the 12-foot east side done is not much more than 15 million. So, I mean, I think it's roughly 16 and a half or so. So that's wonderful news. That really does, I think, bridge with the idea of phasing it and getting that multimodal connection side done that the community so wants, that meets all of the state and federal standards for multimodal connectivity, connecting up to Elmira and View Ridge. And then we got an extra 2 years to keep applying for funding to get that 8-foot side done. So that is super exciting to see that money come in. So I think we have a great pathway to getting it done. Awesome. Next up, just got a couple slides in my report. Want to highlight, yes, we're highlighting our awesome legislators that we've been working with. Great news on all that funding. The work never stops. Kudos to Greg Nance for hosting another Fix Our Ferries town hall. So that's this Saturday at 10 a.m. Right here in this room. It's going to piggyback on the one from about a month ago, and I believe Rep. Nance will be talking about with the budget now going to the governor's desk, what the future looks like for WSF. And Mayor, that is just fantastic on the Kitsap Transit Fast funding. So desperately needed. So come here this Sunday, March 9th at 10 a.m. Saturday, thank you. Saturday, March 9th, appreciate it. Saturday. All right. Next slide. And then this was last First Friday Art Walk downtown at the Admiral Theater building. This was fantastic work. Current Mayor Wheeler and a lot of heavy lifting by former Mayor. Oh my God, this is embarrassing.
Lynn Horton.
Lynn Horton, thank you. I had Patty in my head. Lynn Horton, former mayor, I know in the Arts District. And so for folks who couldn't make it, great curtain unveiling. And on the left there is what it is a virtual storefront. You can walk up, you can see items that are being sold by a local artist. You can scan the QR code and go buy them. So really fantastic program. And I saw Lynn out and about just today looking at other windows and storefronts along Pacific there, walking into some buildings. So I think a lot more to come. Big boost for our downtown. Next slide. St. Patrick's Day Parade, something most council will be there. And I didn't realize that there is a puppy promenade as well. So if you got a dog looking down there, District 6, it can go in the puppy parade. So register that. And again, thanks to a good coordination here between local businesses and Downtown Bremerton Association. Oh, that starts 2 p.m. So you get to sleep in the day before. I'll make an Irish joke, but you know. All right. I think last slide. I was going to keep this open. I wanted to add the URL up there, but boards and commissions, greatly appreciate everyone who steps up to serve in the city on these. So don't forget that if you're looking to serve, fill out that application, keep it on file. And that's all I got for District 3. So awesome news again on bridge funding and all that. So I'm gonna clap out loud. I'm excited. So much good funding down the pipeline.
Thank you. Next up, District 4, Jane Robolowski.
Well, I would like to echo to get a real active transportation project in town that's going to serve so many people. Ever since they made the sidewalk safer on the Warren Avenue Bridge, it's been next to impossible for anybody with any kind of disability to walk across it because they made them so narrow when they put up those safety rails. So this is just going to be excellent because right now people in District 4 don't have a safe way of getting downtown. And at least now we can meander through the college to get there until 6th Street is all restriped, which we're looking forward to that too. But it's just wonderful. A lot of people worked really hard to help give their input on what they felt were the highest needs for the Warren Avenue Bridge. So I'm really happy that we got increased funding for that. This Saturday, I think I've got a slide there. Okay. Oh, tomorrow is a District 4 monthly meeting. It's at the high school. I have it well signed. You just go to the main entrance and then it's signed. It's basically their guidance counselor office. I forget what they call it now. I'm probably aging myself with that. But it's really nice because last month we had Garrett Jackson come and talk to us about the comp plan. And there's a lot of interaction between the speaker and it's not being lectured at. And tomorrow night, Chief Tom Wolf from the police department is going to come and he's going to explain the current pursuit policy that they very thoughtfully put together that seemed to be working well for them before the change in 90 days to a new pursuit policy. It's going to talk to us about traffic calming and staffing and bring all your questions. Tom's very open and he will answer any question you ask. So I hope to see a lot of people there and you don't have to live in District 4 to attend. On Saturday, March 9th, I have planned blackberry eradication at Mattown Park. It looks like we're gonna have heavy rain, so I think I'm gonna delay it for a few more weeks. So I will reset another date for that because we need at least 10 people there to really clean it up. And I think it's gonna be hard when it's supposed to rain a half an inch within the 2 hours we had planned to be there. And congratulations to our high school teams. The Bremerton High School, I live right behind it, so it's great. I get to listen to all their outdoor games and see the enthusiasm of all the students and community members who attend. And it's just wonderful what they're accomplishing there at the high school. So congratulations, Bremerton High. And that's all I have for this week. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, District 5, Michael Goodnow.
Thank you. And do I have a slide? I think I just have one with a couple of topics. The Charleston district, that's the Charleston Business District, kind of the Callow Avenue merchants are really getting a lot of traction going. They have monthly meetings, I think usually on the third Tuesday. The meeting on the 19th will be at Typewriter Fever, which is a cool place in itself. You can also get Zoom attendance if you just want to kind of listen in. You probably can't read that, but Facebook is a good place to find information about the Charleston Business District. I also wanted to mention that the third Saturday of every month, Forest Ridge Park has stewardship days. It's a chance for the community to come out and help the park. It's a big urban forest right in the middle of town here. If you haven't been out there, it's great trails and things like that. But we struggle with ivy. I don't know if anybody's ever dealt with ivy, and it goes up the trees and stuff. So we can always use was it many hands make light work, and help keep that park enjoyable for everybody. And I just also would be a bad the theater executive director if I didn't mention the Oscars are Sunday. So anyways, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor Goodnow. Next up is Council Vice President Anna Mockler for District 6.
Thank you, Council President. May I have the first slide, please? Next slide, please. Okay, so my monthly town halls, the next one coming up is March 11th, and it's really just what council did last month and what they'll look at soon. There will be guest speakers in the future, but March 11th is really just a time. Anything that you have on your mind, come on, talk about it. I'll see what I can do. And if I don't know what to do, I will tell you that. It's from 4 to 6. Thank you again, Public Works, for letting me use the conference room. And next slide, please. Okay, so on March 16th is a Girls Exploring Math and Science at OC. This is how we change the world. One interactive career exploration session at a time. If you get a chance to go, if you know anybody who is in 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, have them get on down there. Scholarships are available, and Allison Rotter's email is at the bottom of this screen, or see me after the meeting. It's arotter@olympic.edu. So that's 2 events happening in Bremerton this month. Next slide, please. I think we're done. Yes. March is National Women's Month, and March 8th is International Women's Day. So here's some data from Pew Research Center about major advances that women have made. In 2002, women were earning 80 cents on the dollar compared to men. And now in 2022, we are earning 82 cents. Yes. One suggestion for all who want to champion women and be good allies: let your coworkers know what you earn and encourage others to do the same. I'm so sorry that Mr. Simpson has gone, because Public Works Committee has formally requested that
Public Works investigate speed bump feasibility on Snyder Avenue at my request. Thank you all. Fingers majorly crossed. Many in my district want traffic calming and sidewalks. It is the number one ask after, okay, here's one reason to love District 6. It's like, we want you to do something about the homeless. They say, what is it? Give them homes. I think that's a pretty great district to get to represent. When you can walk your neighborhood safely, it builds community, and community not only keeps us safer, it improves our mental and physical health. So District 6 does not have anything wonderful like the Warren Avenue multimodal or 11th and Perry or any of the big projects that have been happening. But I'll tell you what we do have in District 6 is really great mutual aid. There are little libraries. There's this Callow Avenue Seed Library. There's food pantries all over. There's a pretty great Facebook Buy Nothing group, and taking it to the next level. Kit Glure and other of my other constituents of District 6 opened 639 Callow last month, organizing for a Bremerton community space. And Kit wrote, we're still working on creating the legal entity and building up the space at 639 Callow, but I want to shout out all the cool and creative things people have utilized the space for so far. We just wrapped a kids' stuffy making party today. We've had queer figure drawn, a neighborhood litter pickup, union and community org meetings, a mending party, craft swap, clothes giveaway, along with our own business meetings and work parties. I love watching, and this is still Kit, I love watching folks light up when they realize there's space for their idea and neighbors who want to be there. So my gratitude to everyone in my district, our city, and on this council who work hard to make this a better place for all of us to live. Who talk about my constituents, my district, not I. It's really unlike so many politicians, and it's pretty great. So I will keep working to make Bremerton a refuge for good government in stormy times. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Nobody has thanked Councilor Coughlin and Council President Chamberlain and, me for lobbying for Warren Avenue.
Thank you, Vice
We were
President.
down there in the halls of power. Basically we did not get down on our knees. We did not bribe them because, we don't have that kind of money. But it was very wonderful. And Senator Hansen, Senator Randall am I going near time?
Quite a bit over, but
Oh,
you're
shoot.
about to wrap it up.
Okay, just thanks to many people. Good night.
Thank you, Vice President Mockler. And District 7, Eric Younger.
Sorry.
Thank you. All the great news, I thought we all saw in our email, no one mentioned the other thing about the money for the homeless shelter with our nonprofit partners. So I don't have all the particulars there, but I could have sworn I saw $1 million grant. And I don't know if that's tied to climate change, whatever. I would hope not. Really? So, and there was another one too, I thought. So anyways, that's something to be super excited about throughout the city, because we need to still address our issue before next summer. So anyways, I was excited to see that, and I'm grateful to the legislature for moving that forward, and for everybody that was behind that, pushing that forward. It was kind of fun seeing all the emails coming through and seeing all the hard work being done. The other thing is, although technically I now reside in District 6, my neighbors, Michelsons, Mayor Wheeler, you mentioned Lars, who's committed to Stanford. So, I mean, that's great that he did so well in the wrestling, but of course, that whole family is a bunch of wrestlers. I always see them running down Jordan Point and Shorewood, and I guess to maintain their weight, along with the dad, who's very active. Lars is actually at Stanford. No, Thor is at Stanford now, and Lars is going next year. So that's outstanding. I think back to our Olympic swimmers, the Kirk sisters, who also went to Stanford. So being jealous, I wish I could have gone to Stanford, but just didn't have the academics. I'm very proud of my neighbors there, being able to do just to excel in wrestling, but also to have it up here, and just as importantly, to have the proper upbringing and strong, close-knit family, and just pushing academics and athletics at the same time. Just outstanding. Just can't be any more proud of my neighbors. So that's my report.
Thank you, Counselor Younger. Okay, so I did some quick math. Am I right, Mayor? There's a nearly $40 million that's been allocated to Bremerton type projects. Now, I guess, Mason County gets, 1.3, 1.7. I wrote it down, but at 1.3 to Mason. I mean, okay, whatever. Give or take about 40 million has been allocated. So what he was talking about, y'all, is I said, I'm just not confident they're going to move that bridge up in the biennium. But if they do, I'm going to buy all y'all pizza, because that was my deal. And so that I will be bringing pizza to the next study session. Yeah, it is too bad that these folks that come for public comment leave before we ever get a chance to reply to them, because, we don't always, and folks are, if they're concerned that we're not discussing these items, they should come to a study session. And so our next study session will be on the 6th floor council conference room, Wednesday, March 13th, beginning at 5 p.m. with a remote option available by Zoom. That doesn't mean I'm adjourning the meeting yet. I still got a couple more things to say, but I want to make sure to let everybody know that because we have a lot of deep discussions about these items. This isn't, we don't take this job lightly. And if you want to have an opportunity to see what a deep discussion is really going to look like, come to the next study session, because we do need to work out some details of the bridge. We have a $5 million gap that we have no solutions for. Finance has no solutions for it, for us. And we have to have a real pragmatic discussion about the bridge. So please come to the study session. And then subsequently, we'd love to hear your feedback regarding our discussion from the next study session. I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I wasn't also complimenting Bremerton High School, who is under the leadership of a fantastic athletic director by the name of Amber Plummer. Just before I left the high school, she came on, and she's pretty amazing. So I have no doubt that the success of the various sports teams are a direct result of her amazing leadership in that role. With that concludes tonight's regular council business. I already let you know when the next study session will be. We'll see you there, we hope, and the meeting is adjourned.